Hey, it's Dane Scott here with Pocket Frog.
Welcome aboard.
Good to have you for another Studio Takes. I recently did a gig doctor with someone, and it was mentioning the fact that I offer, among other things, something I called a Disney style.
Wait a sec.
Yeah. And she basically said the same thing. It's like, is there really such a thing as a Disney style? And I said, well, yeah, there kind of is. And given the fact that I go back a few years, I remember actually when that was kind of introduced. So today, on this edition of Studio Takes, I'm going to show you some classic examples of Disney style, and then we're going to try doing a Disney style announcer. Next. Disney announcer style today. First, I'll just mention, if you're still developing your style, if you're not sure exactly how you want to sound as a voiceover person, or if you have a sound, which is something that I actually talked about with someone in a coaching session today. Do you actually have a sound that kind of is your money voice? Anyway, maybe one of your styles is going to be the Disney style. Who knows? Let's find out what your strengths are, where your potential is, and try and get you pointed in the right direction. So contact me if you'd like to get some coaching going. You can call me at 920-672-8244. Contact me also through Facebook and through Facebook Messenger, and let's get together and see if we can make things happen for you as a voiceover person. All right, on to today's subject. And, I grew up in the era of Disney. Really, the introduction of Disney was during the early part of my lifetime. So I kind of remember some of that stuff. And I want to pull up a couple of clips here just for fun. Here's a really early one. This was the first intro to the Disney show. It was called, I think maybe just called Disneyland to start with, or Walt Disney's Wonderful World of Disney, something to that effect. Here was the original intro. There's Tinkerbell.
Walt Disney's Disneyland.
Okay, so it was originally called Walt Disney's Disneyland, and you can hear the style there. Walt Disney's Disneyland. It had a lilting, it had a magical sound to it. It was like, this is going to be big. This is going to be exciting. This is going to be fun. And so it really kind of set up whatever the episode was going to be about. And it took all different directions. So here then is maybe 10 years later when color TV had come in, and they had a version of the Disneyland show called Walt Disney's Wonderful World of Color.
Walt Disney presents...
Sounds pretty corny, doesn't it? But that is, the way things were. But the style, I think, is still kind of cool. The Walt Disney presents, it's very announcery, but it's not just an announcer. It's a lilting announcer sound. There's a certain amount of lift in it that gives it that kind of wonder, the sense of wonderment, amazing, going to take you into an imaginary land. So this is the style of the Disney announcer, and I just happen to enjoy it. And I remember even as a kid kind of saying, the wonderful world of color, not in that voice at that time, but I was already kind of keying into that, and I always thought it was kind of cool. All right, so that's kind of the Disney style. Now, let's go back in here. Actually, I'm going to go to this order. This order came in today from a lady named Sierra, and she is, I think maybe she is a college student, and she's working on a project that relates to Disney and connecting with Gen Z in Disney. But what she wants is the kind of classic Disney style, and she even gave me a YouTube video to check. Let's see if we have that here. We'll actually go to the link. How about that? And there's a little bit of music at the beginning and intro, and then the Disney announcer voice comes in, which is a little different now that it's more modern. But let's just listen to some of this.
We go! From the magic within our hearts to the adventure beyond the horizon.
So this one's a little more this way. It's got a little more kind of grit. And so she wants it to be adventurous. We're going to put some Disney sound into it, but I'm going to keep it a little hushed, a little more even like, imagine this. Okay. So it's a combination of the wonderful world of Disney and this kind of a sound, which also has kind of a magical appeal to it. So this is what she's shooting for. And she sent me the script, which I have right here. And we'll pull that up next. And we'll bring up our Twisted Wave, which is what I record in. And for those who are just listening, I'll describe everything that's going on. So far, I think it all has been pretty good in terms of audio description of what's happening. And there isn't that much to see other than just looking at the script. But I'm always trying to be sensitive to the fact that this is being recorded for video on YouTube and also is being presented as a podcast. By the way, we're on Apple now, so that's really fun. We're on most of the major podcast networks with this. So happy to be able to announce that. All right, so now we have the Disney script here, and I love to make things a little bit bigger because I think my eyes track better on it. So I'm going to hit Shift Control F, which allows the screen, this is in numbers on the Mac, it allows the window to be displayed as large. As I make the window larger, the text gets larger along with it, which I think is really nice. Okay, again, of no consequence if you were listening on the podcast, but here we go. So I'm going to record, and I'm just going to kind of lay some of this down, and you'll hear that I'm going to try and combine the old original classic Disney style with a little more of the kind of the hoarse, whisperish, breathish thing that we heard in that more recent one. Over the past 100 years, Disney has taught us there's a fine line between magic and reality. That is belief. The power of belief allows for your imagination to dream freely. Imagination breeds creation. This belief has been told to Gen Z throughout their life, throughout their childhood. But as we grow older, we forget how relevant it still is in our lives today. Disney wants to remind Gen Z that there's a little bit of Disney in all of us. Introducing Disney's #Worlds Collide 100th Anniversary Campaign. We asked our Twitter community, where do your worlds collide? This encourages our audience to respond to how Disney's belief has impacted you to pursue your passion. As a thank you to the believers, Disney will create an interactive website to show you how your world of reality collides with Disney's world of magic. The Worlds Collide tweets will be collected and categorized through a database using keywords associated with popular Disney movies, turning your tweets into small communities of people like yourself that were inspired to create magic using similar values. They can then find their tweets using their Twitter handle to find which Disney community they belong to. In addition to collecting a Disney movie badge at your community In addition to collecting a Disney movie badge of your community at any Disney park on October 16th, 2023. This is where you can connect with those who share the same beliefs. The values of belief have been embedded into Disney stories for years and continue to live in our lives whether we realize it or not. Disney helps inspire magic, but you are the ones who bring it to life. When your worlds collide, where does your imagination?
Say that again.
Where does your imagination come to life? So that was fun. Yeah, as you can tell, I really enjoy doing that style. We'll stop the recording here. And I'll do my editing later. What I do is, these days, I just kind of pick up where I left off, take another breath and keep going. Or if I'm in the middle of a sentence and I run out of breath, I'll just take a breath and then start that part of the sentence again, just to make and just pull it together afterwards to make sure it has a nice continuity and isn't broken by a breath where it doesn't make sense for there to be a breath. Okay, so anyway, this has been wonderful. I've enjoyed this a lot. Thanks to Johnny Unitas.
Yay!
He's the man who is the frog. I appreciate his voice contribution here, and we'll be back with another one of these very, very soon. We're doing them multiple times a week. So if you have not subscribed yet, do that. Subscribe and, keep with us on this. Subscribe to the podcast or subscribe to the YouTube channel, or how about both? And so that we can present it to you in whatever format is the most handy to you at the time. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me.
You give me a call.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello, I think.
Hello, cutie pie.
Until I heard the voice, I'd never done a crazy thing in my whole life.
Goodbye.